You've been posting on social media consistently. You're putting out good content, good visuals, and you're putting in the time and you're showing up. But the reach just isn't there. A handful of likes, mostly people who already know you, maybe your friends and your family, but no new leads, no new customers. So what is going on? Probably nothing. That's just how organic social media works these days. The platforms have changed, and if you want to reach new people who don't already follow you, you need generally pay to play. Today we're talking about social media ads and what they are, how they work, and how a small business like you can use them without wasting money. That's really important, right? So welcome to the Marketing Minute Podcast. My name is Peter DeWitt. I'm your host, and with me today is our very own Tyler Pearson.
Hey, Peter.
Welcome, Tyler.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
You too.
So Tyler is our digital advertising specialist here at Edge, and he's the person behind the paid ad campaigns on social that we run for our clients every single day.
That's correct.
Pretty much do this full time, Tyler.
Yeah, that's right.
If anyone knows how to make a modest budget work hard on social media, it's Tyler. So today we're breaking down paid social advertising for small businesses. We're going to cut through the confusion, because there's a lot of confusion around this topic, I think, Tyler.
Yeah.
Explain the difference between boosting a post and actually running a good old paid advertising campaign on social. And we'll try to give you a practical framework for getting started, even if you've never spent $1 on ads before. And that's still, the majority of small businesses, I would say,
Right.
have not actually spent a lot of time with this vehicle. So let's get into it.
Yeah, sounds great.
Organic reach we talked about with our clients, right? So organically showing up on social by posting a lot of content. How have things changed, in your opinion, Tyler, over in the last couple of years?
Well, first of all, I think that like you said, Peter, the platforms are increasingly moving towards a pay-to-play model, which is if you're not boosting or creating some paid ads some of the time, you're generally not going to see much organic growth in your platform, unless you go viral or something like that. But that's kind of like lightning in a bottle. It's rare.
Yeah, it hardly ever happens, right? Especially for more serious businesses that we deal with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And okay. Yeah, like I agree, I think, what I've seen of it too, right? Like the social platforms like Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, they're for-profit businesses. They're not they want to make a dollar, and you can't blame them, right? So they make most of the money from advertising, so let's face it. And that's kind of a bit of a tragedy, isn't it? Like I see a lot of small business owners doing a great job on social media. I see other ones that are struggling or just don't put enough time into it. But even the ones that are doing a really good job, the sad part is that the content they put out don't always shows up to their followers. Is that kind of what's happening?
Oh, absolutely. And it is sad, like you say, just because of the amount of work it takes to maintain a regular cadence of high quality posts. If you're putting all that effort in and getting no return, then it really does feel like a big waste.
Yeah, exactly, right. So we're not saying that you should stop posts organically, because that's just that's part of business now. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
It still builds credibility, I believe. We always look at where people are hanging out, right? Like that's one of the reasons why you would be on social media. So we'll talk about it in a minute as well.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is just organically putting out a lot of content is not going to get you there anymore.
No, and especially if you want a specific result. If you want people to make a purchase or something like that, then the likelihood is low that organic will get you there.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So... I guess the good news is, from what we've seen with working with several clients, you don't have to have a massive budget to make paid ads work for you, right? Like even a few $100s a month will actually get you a lot of exposure, because the social channels, especially Facebook, is relatively inexpensive. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can start generally under $500, and especially in the beginning when you're in that testing phase, it's so critical before you spend any more than that to get a look at the numbers and have a sense of this is actually resonating and we're seeing results in the numbers, and then from there you can scale it up.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So start small. That's our advice, and then if you get traction, put some fuel on the fire, and that's generally how you would do it.
Absolutely.
So, Yeah, before we start to talk about strategy, how you actually do these things, right? We're going to give away some valuable information to our listeners
Yep.
and our viewers because we want you to succeed. That's really important to us. But there's a lot of confusion around this one thing, boosting a post, right, and running paid ads. So, Tyler, from your perspective, what's the difference?
Yeah, so boosting is kind of like dipping your toe in the water. It's very simple. It's taking an existing organic post, that means just the kind of post you would post in your feed on any given day, and putting some money behind it to cast a wider net and just reach a larger audience. So that means it's a more simplified process. There's not quite as comprehensive of targeting options and things like that, but it is a very easy way to just boost your engagement and your reach.
Okay, so
Yeah.
anybody can basically boost a post.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty much as simple as clicking the button and changing a few settings.
And put your credit card in, of course.
That's right. The credit card is key.
Yeah, no. So that's definitely a good place to start. And also, I think with the boosted post, because it started out as an organic post.
Yeah.
Probably something interesting, hopefully, that your audience is interested in, and it already got quite a bit of traction without paying for it. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you're posting 8 posts a month, you want to pick the star
Exactly.
and expand on that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so can you also revive or like bring back a previous post and actually from a week ago or a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's one way to revive a post without being penalized, because if you organically repeat posts, that's kind of frowned upon by the algorithm. But if you're paying the way, the gatekeeper's happy.
Okay, so we pay Mark Zuckerberg and then everything is good.
Absolutely.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you've already given it away a little bit. So like a paid ads campaign. So we're very familiar with running paid ads on Google, right?
Yeah.
The big platform for paid advertising.
Right.
How does it work on social media channels, like on Meta, Facebook, Instagram, for example?
Right. So as you mentioned, like this is how these platforms make their money. So they've invested a lot into expanding the options and the capabilities of the paid ads. So that means that you have extremely detailed audience targeting, location targeting. You can pick the cities and regions or even the rural areas that you want to target.
Yeah.
You can find out the interests and all of the different basically character profiles of your audience and bake those into the ads so that it's highly targeted and specific.
Yeah, and that's, of course, especially with social media, it's so great that everybody, including myself, we put our whole life story on there.
Yep.
And if I, showed I'm interested in aviation, for example,
Right.
Facebook knows that very well. So
Yeah.
anything to do with aviation or a hobby, I'm going to get targeted by those ads.
It could have even been if you said aviation out loud in a room with your phone.
Well, there you go, right?
Yeah.
So like the ongoing debate about it, like what happens with our voice when Google and Facebook picks those up.
Right.
No, I don't think you're wrong, but so you're very specifically targeting an audience. So if you think about your ideal client, if they happen to be in Facebook, which is a large percentage of the population, however, not everybody's on Facebook, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's one thing we always remind people of, that yes, although it's a big platform, a lot of people have accounts. Not everybody's actually actively participating in social media either. And sometimes as marketers, we forget that, or small business owners, we forget that. We assume that everybody's on there.
Yeah.
But that's oftentimes not the case. So it really pays off to make have a bit of a strategy, a plan before you jump in as well. So,
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So when should a small business use a boosted post versus like a paid advertising? Like in the paid advertising, like how does that work again? Do you just set up like a daily budget or what?
Right. So with a paid advertisement, you actually can set a goal. Or several goals. And so that means that maybe you want them to send you a message. Maybe you want to send them to your website and have them fill out a form. There are a bunch of set goals, and that's why the paid advertising, it's so key to have your audience really specifically figured out, because then you're going to target people who you've identified likely to meet your goal for you.
Yeah.
Whereas a boosted post, like I mentioned, it's more of casting a wide net. It's generally about awareness or maybe an event or a promotion, something that's easily understood and grasped by a wider audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the paid ads, they cost more money, generally speaking, but you can also be more specific, so that's good. So I think generally how you approach this, Tyler, I think like we start with boosted posts and then get into the paid ads.
Generally, yeah, especially if a client is totally new to paid advertising or if their account is smaller, because we want to grow the account and create familiarity before we are targeting people out of the blue.
Exactly. Yeah. So, that's cool. So then a few other things we can talk about, I guess. Like first one is the big one, right? There's so many different options. Of course, everybody knows the big ones: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Right.
Twitter in some cases, right? There's a lot of very familiar platforms, but how does a small business owner decide like which platform they should be on first?
Right. So I think generally it comes down to where does your audience live? Although I would prioritize Facebook and Instagram because they have very comprehensive advertising, and it seems that a lot of people are on there. But if you're a business to business, B2B company, and you're dealing at a professional level, LinkedIn is better. And there is a case to be made for a TikTok even, which is very popular.
Yes.
Although, as I mentioned, the cadence you have to keep up on TikTok, you have to be constantly posting. So that has to be, it works for like restaurants and things like that.
Yeah.
But you need to know where your audience lives and then go for it from there.
No, exactly. And again, I think a lot of time and money gets wasted by being on the wrong channels.
Yeah.
Talking to the wrong people with the wrong message
For sure.
oftentimes, right? So that's typical. First you have to figure out what is your message and who are your clients, and then you're probably in a much better position to make those decisions. So you mentioned LinkedIn. So LinkedIn advertising, I hear, is very expensive is compared to the others. Is that true?
Right, yeah. Each platform has kind of a trade-off. With LinkedIn, you're paying more per click, more per conversion, but what you're getting is higher intent. You know more at a professional level about the people you're targeting, so the value is there, but you can expect to pay more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So no, and that's true. And then of course in the business to business world, the deal values are higher as well.
Right.
So then
Exactly.
if your average deal size is like 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000, you can spend even up to a couple $1,000s really on getting that lead, right? But if you're a smaller business and you don't have that kind of traction, it's tricky though, right? Because that's
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, for say a landscaping company, a roofing company, if you have high volume, then it's probably better to be in a place where you can hit a bigger audience and have a higher frequency of conversions.
No, exactly. Yeah. So it's really important to figure this out first before you jump in, right? So try to figure out where your clients are and then join them in that conversation.
Yeah.
So start where your customers already are. And well, we talked about money a little bit, right? Like the credit card and paying Mark Zuckerberg or somebody else. What is a realistic budget for, first of all, for if I want to just boost posts, and then secondary, actually, an official paid Facebook campaign, for example? How many dollars should people put aside for that?
Right. So I guess you want to consider how long you want to run the campaign for. So you can break it down to the cost per day. But we would say in a month, for a campaign, $300 to $500 is a good place to start for paid ads.
Okay.
But for boosting, I would say you can go as low as $50 to $100.
I know, yeah.
It really isn't that expensive, and it's a good way to just get the ball rolling.
Yeah, and I think oftentimes, I mean, you see results, and you see actually, and ultimately the result is conversion into people buying stuff from you, right?
Yeah, good
Not
point.
so much the likes or the interaction. That's great, but
Yeah.
ultimately, most businesses we work with, they want to see a return on their investment.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty exciting to see sometimes that those new leads coming in and actually they turn into sales.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden the $50 or the $500 is actually not that big of a deal for these businesses anymore, right? Because they know they're investing money, but they're also gonna get a return.
That's a great point, and you're also during this whole process, we have to remember you're testing. So you're getting data back and you're making improvements and refinements. So the hope is that you're making refinements that make your ads perform better and better as time goes on, and you're bringing that cost down.
Yeah, no, exactly right. So experiment, do some testing, see what works, and that may sound strange from a marketing agency. We're supposed to know all these things, but honestly, it's oftentimes it's good research, finding out what they're trying to do, who is the audience, and what is the messaging, right? But even
Absolutely.
but knowing all these things, sometimes it's a trial and error, and that's just being completely transparent about
Absolutely.
that. But at least we measure each and every move, and if something works, great.
Yeah.
We put more fuel on the fire. But if it's not working, then we go back and actually tweak it, right? So that's the thing that kind of makes this very valuable.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the audience.
Right.
Okay, so there's lots of targeting options within the platform, generally speaking. But where do we start? Like, how do I, as a small business owner, figure this out?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the key word is specificity, which is hard to say, but you want to be specific.
That's a big word.
Yeah, it's a big word. But we want to be specific with our targeting. So not casting too wide a net to begin. We don't want to go all of Alberta or all of Canada.
The whole world. I want to
The whole world.
I want to reach the whole world.
Yeah, and we do have clients who have an audience in Australia and things like that.
Yeah.
But we want to start small and start adding what we already know about our clients. And what's cool about that is Meta, for example, offers lookalike audiences. So if you have information on your existing clientele, you can pump that into the system, and it will actually search for people who look like the audience you've already put into the system.
That is amazing. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a very powerful tool. Like, they are benefiting from providing good tools to us marketers or small business owners because, they get paid based on the success in the end of their advertising tools, right? So, that's really cool. So, okay, so we know the platform. We know roughly how much money we should put towards it.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about what do you put in those ads? Like, is there particular science behind like what you're offering those people when you go and advertise for them?
Right. I think a temptation for some businesses is to talk about, look how great we are.
Exactly.
Or to make it implied that like, we're great, call us now, and have a real general call to action. And what we want to do instead is identify the customer's problem and then highlight the solution and then give them an action they can take. It's a very simple process. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Problem, solution, action.
Exactly.
And if you follow that very simple framework, then you probably are on track to build a compelling ad.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like there needs to be a call to action or an offer being offered, and just general awareness. Advertising in general is if you're Nike or Coca-Cola, you can get away with that, right?
Yeah.
Some of the sponsors at the FIFA World Cup spending $100 million a year on being associated with this, right? So they can get away with that. And somebody actually asked me while I was watching the game, would it actually, the $400 million they invest in this, would it actually pay back? And I had to say, well, I don't know. Nobody probably knows, right?
Right.
But most of our clients, 99.9% of our clients don't live in that world. So you need to be very specific with where you spend your money and then what you put out there. And I think that's a very good piece of advice, Tyler, to really focus on that formula. So so then, like we do this for a lot of our clients, right? We have quite a few people we work with, and they're all unique, right? They have a unique niche in there.
Oh, yes.
Everything else. What does a well-performing ad look like? Like, can you have a bit of a case study or some examples?
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned, like a landscaping company. If a landscaping company comes to us and they've been running ads and they're getting 20 inquiries a month and they're spending so much. Well, let's revise the ad, put it out with new audience targeting, all of the things we've been talking about, a well-defined problem and solution and call to action. And now let's run it and we bring in 50 inquiries. That's how you know an ad's working. And that's why tracking is so important.
Exactly.
It's very easy to put out an ad and no one calls and go, well, that was a wasted effort. And the question is, were you tracking it? And do you understand which metrics are vanity metrics and don't really matter and which are leading to conversions.
No, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes the cause and effect is difficult to determine, right? Like with all
Absolutely.
the measurements and all the tools we have, it's still not 100% watertight.
Yeah.
But we have a very good idea about what those results are, and ultimately,
Yeah.
of course, it comes down to do they become clients? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
No. So that's a really good example. So not everybody loves to be served ads, right? Let's be honest.
Right.
Like sometimes those ads get in our way of what we're actually looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I think most platforms are pretty good being very subtle.
Yeah.
They've learned their lesson, right? Like a in-your-face banner is probably the worst thing you can do these days.
Yeah.
But you can insert it in certain areas. But what do you do? Like how can you prevent people from just clicking it off or scrolling through right away?
Right. Yeah. So there are a few things we want to do. First of all, we want to capture their attention in the first 2 seconds because it's easier than ever to swipe to the next thing. These people aren't locked in. They can just move on to the next thing. So we definitely want to look at what would make them stop. And so we're seeing that video performs really well.
Right.
And that means it doesn't mean you need to hire a videographer or do any slick production. Often like something filmed on your phone is more than good enough. TikTok quality.
Yeah.
And that's where we are with that. The other thing is a headline that broadcasts the problem or the solution,
Yeah.
so that we're immediately striking a nerve that causes them to stop.
Yeah.
And that's key as well. And then also just a super clear call to action. And like Meta, for example, gives you the option to add all these buttons that can say call us or message us or fill out a form.
Right.
As long as that's easy to see and clear,
Yeah.
and not leaving them confused, then you've kind of covered all your bases.
Yeah, exactly. And,
Yeah.
and what we see now on the social platforms as well, you actually don't have to leave the platform, right, to click those buttons.
Absolutely.
Before we would send them to a website, but now actually we capture that information right on the platform. Have you seen that trend as well?
Absolutely, yeah. And the research plays that out, that forms that are located on the platform perform exponentially better than making them leave to a site. And people also really like being able to just message the company
right.
directly on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, so then it's just it's up to the client to respond to those messages.
Yeah, within 5 minutes.
at least, right? Because people are spoiled. They want an instant reply. So, and again, that's sometimes hard to do.
For sure.
I mean, there's some automation that we can talk about, but that's a completely different topic. So I won't go there. But yeah, like that makes sense because people are on their phone, they're browsing, they're interacting. It's a very low friction way of getting a hold of a company.
Right.
And whoever does a good job of replying to those inquiries is going to win. Absolutely.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, that's all very good information. You've already alluded to this a little bit, Tyler, but like how to know if your ads are working. So like in a nutshell, what are some of the numbers, like the metrics that we should look at to see if this this actually works?
Right. So we all know likes. I think likes is the one that's easy to understand. Likes do not translate to conversions. They're what I called a vanity metric. It's cool to have a bunch of likes. And the algorithm may reward you with some organic growth through those. But in terms of conversions, we want to see, I would say 3. So there's your click-through rate. How many people are clicking to whatever your call to action was? How many people are going into Messenger, going to your website, those things. Then there's the cost per result, which is for you to have this ad running and for them to click, what did that actually cost between each click?
Okay.
Right? So that tells us if we're spending $20 to get a client that's only going to make a $60 purchase, that's probably all of our profit gone. So we want to make sure we're watching that number so that we're staying viable. And then there is the conversion rate itself, which is how many people are taking that step towards that sale. And so between all of those, each one of those has a tangible value. And if you're tracking those and making sure that you're keeping them below thresholds and staying within the goal you set, then you're going to have a successful ad campaign there.
Exactly, right? So, and that's really important, I think, the measurement and adjusting if needed. And make sure you don't overspend, right? Like put those boundaries in place because, it has happened in the past that people would spend all their complete monthly advertising budget in one day. Right?
And that's why we test at a lower number first.
Exactly. So you want to nail it down on a daily budget, right? So when the money runs out for that day, you know that your ads were showing, but then it kind of resets the next day. So that's the best way to do that. So
Right.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And is it instantly, just like as soon as you switch them on, you get results, or do you have to wait a little bit?
I wish it were that fast,
Yeah?
but we probably want to wait 2 to 3 weeks before we have any doubts in place. These ads, first of all, the platforms do something called learning. So they're going through the audience you've set, and they're actually improving themselves over the
Okay.
first few days.
Okay.
And then you want to see if the audience gets fatigued right away, and also you haven't reached everyone, so give it some time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's good advice. So, wow, I think we covered a lot of stuff, Tyler. So
there's a
that's
lot.
there's a lot more to unpack. But these are some practical things that people can do, I think.
Yeah.
Just make sure investigate paid advertising, because you have to pay to play these days.
Yeah.
And there's just no way around it. We're not saying that organically showing up is not important, but like a paid ad campaign can really augment that, right? Like put the organic efforts on steroids, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, you've spent all this time creating this content, and it's a bit of a shame that the shelf life of the average social media post, I don't know, do we is it minutes or is it hours? I don't know. It's definitely not weeks.
No, well, LinkedIn is unique that their algorithm has started bringing posts back and allowing them to grow, but that's not the norm.
No, it's not the
unfortunately.
norm, right? Like like what's here today and it's gone tomorrow. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Tyler, for
Absolutely.
stopping by and talking to us about this very important topic.
Yeah.
The key takeaways are organic social is still worth doing. Like, don't stop what you're doing already. If you haven't started at all yet, you could consider starting with a paid campaign as well. We've done that as well. That's actually another strategy. Forget about the organic, go straight into paid. In some cases, that works as well. Make sure you put a budget together for all of this, right? You need some budget to pay the platforms for your actual ads. And then generally speaking, if you would work with somebody like us, we do need some time to actually work on these campaigns as well. So there's some cost involved there. Yeah. And start with one platform. We didn't really talk about that, but it kind of is implied. Like once you have a plan, okay, well, this is the most likely one to go with. Facebook is a big one, but not necessarily. And then keep your audience focused, lead with value, give them real value. Give them something to do, click on something or actually try to capture those leads and track the numbers as they come in. So you don't need a massive amount of budget, but you need a clear message and a willingness to experiment. If you want help with any of this, of course, you can reach out to us. Tyler would love to speak to you about that and see what we can do for you. You can, of course, look us up on the social channels and on our website, edgemarketing.ca. Make sure to subscribe to this so you don't miss future episodes. We got more practical marketing content coming specifically for you as a small business owner. Until then, keep marketing forward.